January 7th on this day, in 1327, King Edward II of England was deposed, marking a significant change in English royal succession. In 1430, Duke Philip the Good, aged 33, celebrated his marriage to Isabella of Portugal, aged 32, in Sluys, Burgundy, strengthening political ties between Burgundy and Portugal. In 1558, French forces led by the Duke of Guise captured the port of Calais from the English, ending England's presence in France. In 1610, Galileo Galilei discovered the first 3 moons of Jupiter, Io, Europa, and Ganymede, using a telescope, a groundbreaking moment in astronomy. In 1714, Englishman Henry Mill patented the typewriter, although the machine was constructed many years later, laying the groundwork for modern typing technology. In 1785, Frenchman Jean-Pierre Blanchard and American Dr. John Jeffreys completed the first crossing of the English Channel in a hydrogen balloon, advancing the field of aviation. In 1807, Britain responded to Napoleon Bonaparte's attempted blockade of the British Isles by initiating their own blockade against continental Europe, intensifying economic warfare during the Napoleonic Wars. In 1865, Cheyenne and Sioux warriors attacked Julesburg, Colorado, in retaliation for the Sand Creek Massacre, escalating conflict during the American Indian Wars. In 1891, Zora Neale Hurston, an American folklorist and writer, celebrated for her works on black culture in the rural South, and her role in the Harlem Renaissance, was born. In 1894, William K. L. Dixon captured Fred Ott's Sneeze as a motion picture at Thomas Edison's Black Maria Studio in West Orange, New Jersey, creating one of the earliest films recorded on camera. In 1901, trading at the New York Stock Exchange exceeded 2 million shares in a single day for the first time, signaling the rapid growth of the American financial market. In 1902, the Imperial Court of China returned to Peking, and the Empress Dowager resumed her reign, restoring central authority after a period of upheaval. In 1918, German forces moved 75,000 troops from the Eastern Front to the Western Front during the later stages of World War I. In 1934, 6,000 pastors in Berlin defied Nazi authority, insisting they would not be silenced, demonstrating early resistance to the regime. In 1941, during the New Fourth Army incident, Chinese nationalist forces under Chiang Kai-shek attacked the Communist New Fourth Army at Maolin in Anhui Province, resulting in the deaths or capture of about 7,000 troops and intensifying the Chinese Civil War. In 1944, the United States Air Force announced the production of its first jet fighter, the Bell P-59 Era Comet, marking a new era in military aviation. In 1945, United States Air Ace Major Thomas B. McGuire, Jr. was killed in the Pacific, becoming one of the highest-scoring American fighter pilots during World War II. In 1952, French forces in Indochina launched Operation Violette, attempting to push Viet Minh forces away from the town of Ba Vi as part of the First Indochina War. In 1953, United States President Harry Truman announced that America had developed the hydrogen bomb, escalating the nuclear arms race during the Cold War. In 1954, the Georgetown IBM experiment showcased the first public demonstration of a machine translation system at IBM's headquarters in New York, paving the way for modern language technology. In 1955, Marian Anderson became the first African American to perform with the New York Metropolitan Opera, singing the role of Ulrica in Giuseppe Verdi's Un ballo in maschera, breaking significant racial barriers in classical music. In 1968, the uncrewed United States space probe Surveyor 7 was launched, and a few days later made a soft landing on the moon, marking a key milestone in lunar exploration. In 1972, the Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Atlanta Hawks 134-90, achieving their 33rd consecutive win, the longest winning streak in major professional sports. In 1975, Vietnamese troops captured the city of Phuoc Binh in a major new offensive, accelerating the end stages of the Vietnam War. In 1980, United States President Jimmy Carter signed legislation granting $1.5 billion in loans to help save the Chrysler Corporation, reflecting government intervention in the automotive industry. In 1985, Japan launched its first interplanetary spacecraft, Sakigake, making it the first nation outside the United States and the Soviet Union to send a probe into deep space. In 1989, Prince Akihito was sworn in as Emperor of Japan following the death of his father, Emperor Hirohito, ushering in a new era for the Japanese imperial family. In 1990, safety concerns over structural problems led to the closure of the Leaning Tower of Pisa to the public, highlighting ongoing preservation efforts. In 1993, during the Bosnian War, the Bosnian army carried out a surprise attack on the village of Kravica in Srebrenica, intensifying the conflict in the region. In 1999, the impeachment trial of United States President Bill Clinton began in the Senate after the House of Representatives voted to impeach him for lying about his affair with Monica Lewinsky. In 2001, John Kufuor was inaugurated as president of Ghana, marking the country's first peaceful transition from one elected government to another. In 2015, two gunmen linked to al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula stormed the Paris offices of Charlie Hebdo, killing 12 people in retaliation for the magazine's depictions of the Prophet Muhammad. The attackers were later killed by police.
Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's events.